Today I will be showing you how to make this awesome Broodlord. Let's get started. So I wanted to do something special with the base, use some bark. I don't know, have him stand on a rock or something. However, the dumbass that I am, already glued down the Broodlord on its base, so let's get it detached. Yeah, so this is gonna take some time. I used a lot of super glue for this. I'll be back. This is all of the shit that you will need. Some sand, bark, brown stuff, glue, more glue. There's a lot of glue. Now I finally got the Broodlord off his base. We need to trim down the, rubble around the basing material. It doesn't really look good and wouldn't fit in with our bark rock team. So let's chip that away. With that all cleaned up, we're now ready to base. I fucked the tree up so I could collect its bark, and then I'm gonna put the Broodlord on top of it. I used hot glue to glue the bark down to the base. After hot gluing the bark to the base, I wanna put some sand underneath so we don't see the ugly base. So I put some wood glue on our old dirty brush, put it on the base, and after that we're ready to put the sand on it. So once I've done the entire base, I just clean up some of the glue that is still on the rim of the base. I don't want any sand to stick there. After that, we just put it into the tub of sand and we just sprinkle it with sand so it's all covered. After you've done that, it should look something like this. Now we need to attach the Broodlord to the bark, so I found a position that I like, so I took out my super glue. I put a half the amount of super glue on it. It's gonna be covered anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just put enough on there and stick it on the bark. If you're wondering, did I glue down my fingers as well? Yes, I did. There are some gaps that we need to fill, so I'm gonna use some brown stuff that I had left over. I mixed it and I'm gonna put it into the gaps that I have. Wait a minute. Where does brown stuff actually come from? How is that shit born? Well, when Papa Brown Stuff and Mama Brown Stuff, the silver and the brown part, really love each other, they hug and they produce brown stuff. When brown stuff is still a baby, we can still move it around. However, once it actually hits puberty, it will get hard. Let's get back to the video and see how I use baby brown stuff. Right now I'm moving the baby brown stuff inside of the gaps. If you have some sculpting tools, you would use them now. However, I'm just using an old brush and I'm using a knife. Yes, I'm using a knife on baby brown stuff. We are now ready to start priming and painting the model. I'm now applying a black primer with my airbrush, but you can just as well use a rattle can. It makes no difference. After this, I start applying my first coat of blue. I will link all of the paints I used in the description below. You can use an airbrush for this or just a normal brush, it really doesn't matter. After that, I'm gonna apply the purple, which I also do with the airbrush, but same here. You can just use any normal brush as well. Make sure you don't forget all of the armored parts on top with the purple as well. I used the grey color on the bark so that the tree police won't actually hunt me down. I then had to clean up some of the purple and the blue because of the overspray. I'm gonna apply a thick wash over the entire model, making sure to get all of the recesses. After you've finished putting the wash over it, you should have something like this. After the wash has dried, you should have black in all of the recesses. Now we're gonna have a dry brush of white across all of the rocks and all of the sand. It will pick out all of the raised areas and look really nice. After that, I'm gonna dry brush with a lighter purple across all the purple parts. This really picks out the raised edges again, and it's just a really fast way of highlighting. If you have no clue how to dry brush, either ask a family member from Bob Ross or look online for a video. Also do it with the blue on top on the blue parts with a lighter blue. After that, you should have a result similar to mine. Mama Broodlord will have a date tonight with Papa Broodlord, so she wants to paint her nails red. All nails painted red, just in time for her date. We need to brush the eyes and the teeth with white, so she looks good for Papa Broodlord. We're now gonna apply another wash, but just on the red parts. I want them to be a little bit darker, especially on the sides where the claws begin and meet the blue. While that wash is drying, I'm gonna put some purple layering in between the parts on the arms and on the legs. No clue what they are called. Now finally, to touch up, I'm gonna make the ends of the claws a little bit more red again, to make sure that they stand out. What color is the rim of the base? Fucking black. It's always black. Paint your rims black. And there you have it, a finished Broodlord model. I hope you found this useful, and if you do, let me know in the comments below and leave a like. Now I'm gonna apply a wash over the entire model. It's my own recipe. It's not my own recipe, what the fuck am I saying?